I'll try to get it to work. God, it's so fucking loud.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll try to get it to work next time or whatever. Uh, so yeah. So did you watch a little bit of my uh, rant slash review of Only Yesterday?
I
What did you
watched
think?
I watched I watched the whole thing.
Okay.
Uh,
So
what did I
uh,
think? I mean, I watched it all, but I can't exactly remember a lot of it. Uh,
I think my main point is that it is kind of inward looking and it's looking into not someone that it's extraordinary. It's just an ordinary person and it's kind of boring. Uh, uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I know you said something about the stakes were too low, which is kind of funny to me. Because
Why?
I mean, you know, how do I say? If you go about life, um, the stakes are usually quite low on, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
you if you're if you're making a film about someone's regular life, these stakes are always going to be low. So I don't
I
know.
know, but
I thought the stakes were like fine. Yeah, I didn't
uh,
even care if there were stakes or not.
well, I guess I don't know. I mean, for example, like if it was the life of Napoleon or something, that would have been more interesting to watch 2 hours
Well,
of that.
well, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, I
And
do.
and
Yeah.
yeah. And I also felt like this was something that could have easily been made in a live action much more cheaply, and that like all the effort that went into the animation, like it was kind of a waste because like the animation looks good, but this is just like something like it. It's like those photorealistic drawings. After a certain point, like why don't you just take a photograph or whatever, you know?
Um, I think, yeah, I know what you mean, especially some of the shots in urban areas and in the train station things are quite realistic. A lot of the film was very stylized though. Like even during the evenings and the mornings, like those skies are obviously very stylistically very stylized
Yeah,
with
but
yeah the Chris oh,
not
yeah
nothing
and
you
uh,
can't do with. Yeah, go on.
and it, obviously her childhood, which is like half the film, very stylized, right? I mean, that's a scene where that boy sort of I don't want to say it. The boy admits his feelings to her, sort of.
You mean
And
like
she,
when they fly over and I don't know.
yeah, and she
Yeah,
and she sort of floats around, and it
yeah, I
captures that
guess.
feeling really well. You know, I don't.
Yeah, I
I
knew.
think. I think if that was live action, that would have looked like ridiculous. But because it was animated and in quite a smooth way, it looked great. For
Yeah, but
example,
what did that scene really add though? Like it's kind of meaningless, isn't it? Like it's not like watching I don't know I don't know and like a bunch of soldiers fighting each other or something like and
no, but
yeah,
not. Yeah, but not. Okay, not all films need to be that, right? In order, in order for those films to be special, there has to be its sort of, its anti, right?
I don't know. This kind of felt like a period drama or something.
A, a
Uh,
little bit, a little bit. I
yeah,
didn't. I understand what you were saying about the '60s nostalgia stuff. Like, I don't care about that thing. I don't care about '60s nostalgia either. Uh, but
yeah.
it
And
was fine. Like, I just let it happen.
I don't know. I mean, it just felt like the animators were just showing off or whatever. But there really wasn't. I mean, what was the point anyway? What did you think about what I said about the characters anyway?
I think I forgot his name unfortunately because it's been a few months since I watched the film. But
Yeah,
the guy she meets when she first goes to the country.
mm,
What's his name? How she sort of ends up with him. I think you were like too harsh on him. I was like, you were you were like really going in on him. But I do think he does have merits. Especially at the end of the film, after she runs out of the farmhouse. And
oh,
he finds her on the side of the street, basically. He's able after she tells a very long and winding story to him about a boy who didn't shake her hand. He's able to understand her
yeah,
in a way no one else can,
yeah, and that kind.
which is a merit towards him, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
it is.
fact that he can understand her.
I don't know. It just felt like he knew like everything like that was going on through her mind or whatever. I don't know. Uh, maybe I don't. I just didn't like the cheery tone like throughout it, like whatever. Like not everything has to be like Warhammer 40K, but I don't know. I just found it a bit annoying. Like how like everyone was kind of smiling, and the reason which why I didn't like him, especially is because like how how he's contrasted to his father, the other male figure, her father, sorry, to her father,
Mm.
who is yeah, uh, who seems to be like a proper man instead. And then I don't know, I just
right, smoking all the time, reading the newspaper. Yeah.
and
Yeah,
but yeah
I did quite like that character, even though he was a stereotype, as you said. But yeah, he was quite a good character.
yeah.
Though
I mean,
I don't endorse hitting children, of course.
to be honest, I haven't really made up my mind on that, but who cares? It's an
Yeah,
anime. Uh,
yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it's an anime, so they can make it look like a good thing or a bad thing, depending on
yeah.
what they like. I don't know, man. Have you watched or read Norwegian Wood by by Haruki Murakami? It kind of gave me that feel. Uh,
No, unfortunately not.
don't do,
I wish that,
yeah,
I wish I knew
d-
all the things you were talking about. Sometimes.
yeah, yeah. Don't do it. It's shit. Like the
Oh,
reason
okay.
I started reading Murakami is like because you know like weebs get told or otaku or whatever we get told all the time like there are so many better things about Japanese culture. Like, why are you just interested in anime like and manga? You're insulting Japanese culture or whatever. Yeah, so basically, I've read a bunch of writers like Murakami or some
Oh,
Dazai.
you were shamed into doing it then. Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, yeah, but it was shit. I would rather like read some shonen jump manga or whatever. Uh,
All right. Okay.
yeah. About the movie, well,
We can move on if you want. Like, I think it's just a difference of
yeah,
taste fundamentally. I like to see things in anime that you don't, and vice versa. So
yeah.
I don't,
It's what I feel like when a academic agent is talking about like milkman localism or whatever. I'm like, fuck the milkman. I don't care about him. Uh, it sounds so
the
fucking
thing,
boring. Yeah, because
the thing
like,
is, yeah, like I mean, I wouldn't want to be a milkman, but
yeah, yeah,
I do have patience for that sort of thing, though. So maybe that's all the difference.
you know, like academic agent. Like on the one hand, he's talking about heroism or whatever, but then on the other hand, he's talking about like the milkman
Yeah,
the blacksmith or
that's
the blacksmith
yeah,
or
it's
whatever.
cool. Like those archetypes are heroic in a way, aren't
Not really. Come on. I mean, when you like set that like next to, I don't know, a Napoleon, a Bismarck, or
Well,
someone
yeah,
like that.
but the thing is, not not everyone can be these people. Not we're not always at war, right? I mean, not um not everyone can be a soldier, so we have to find heroism in more peaceful activities and ways that
Yeah,
can benefit the community. I think that's what you're saying, and what I kind of agree with. Although I wouldn't call it heroism, I would call it something else. I'm not quite sure what.
yeah, because
Uh,
I feel like the reason that the left keeps on winning is because like uh, it points to all of this stuff, like the countryside or whatever, the milkman, and all that, and like it criticizes it all as I don't know, melancholic and what's the word, monotonous, and I think that is why they have like so many people on their side. It's because like most people find that kind of disgusting, like honestly, like
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, so. I think what really needs to be pointed out is that if you love doing something, then it's never going to be monotonous. Uh, you will look at um people who are like sewing, for example. Uh, I find sewing quite monotonous and boring. But the people who will sew massive scarves or something, they love doing that, and it's not boring to them. And I'd
yeah,
say
but the
you know
problem, yeah, but,
if
but
you
the
love doing
problem is
what you're doing, then it's okay.
but the problem is that they don't need it. They don't need to do it for survival or anything. So what is heroic about that? It's just self-indulgence. In fact, even in the movie,
Well,
like
mate,
that
well,
like,
is it
they do.
is farming self-indulgent? I think farming is a very important service, right? It's perhaps one of the most important services
But
underneath
but
everything.
what I mean is that like you don't actually have to do that. Like you have a choice. Like uh, you could just survive doing anything else. So
Yeah, yeah, but they want to.
yeah, I know. But the reason that they want to is for self-indulgence, isn't it? Like I don't know, like like how that girl, the protagonist, imagined like how she would sit at the back of a cart with a bunch of hay, like or whatever, like, after she's married to our farmer soy guy. Uh,
Man, you're you're so harsh on him. It's not fair. I need to defend his honor if he has any.
he doesn't. He's like uh, the father in Peppa Pig, that AA desperately tries to defend, but yeah, um, but constantly gets pushed around by his, I don't know, pig or whatever family or whatever. I
Yeah, yeah,
have,
right. I
yeah,
will. I will say that Poe is on the winning side of that argument. Daddy Pig is a
yeah,
bit of a pushover.
yeah, and I kind of felt like our guy here, our soy farmer, was kind of like that too. Um, I don't know. Uh, it just like, I don't know. It kind of reminded me of that like sickening 60s nostalgia that a lot of people like who were young in the 60s used to have, like people like even people like Christopher Hitchens, Peter Hitchens' brother, like he used to go on and on about the 60s or whatever in his autobiography Hitch 22, and I was like, I don't know. uh
Yeah. All right.
well,
Let's move on.
yeah, let's move on. Did you Yeah, let's move on.
Since we last talked, a very predictable development has happened.
What?
I think. Can you guess?
Oh, you mean the trial in America?
Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah. Did you watch the stream, the unpopular opinion stream?
I did. Yeah, I did. That's how I know.
Uh, you didn't. Okay. well, at the end of it, yeah, let's talk about the trial as well. But there was an anime super chat about Attack on Titan, and obviously, academic
Yeah,
pages.
that was. I mean, it was correct though. That's a
Yeah.
super chat. I
That,
endorse that super chat.
uh, yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you. So, I mean, it's kind of confusing because it like when it comes to how the Japanese um, interpret or whatever the Germans, um, they're always kind of self-inserting into them. So for
Yeah,
example, yeah, um, stuff like Space Battleship Yamato, where they're little that where uh, 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 they resurrect a Japanese battleship and turn it into a spaceship, and then from World War II, it's a battleship from World War II, the Yamato.
yeah.
You must know the Yamato. uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Obviously, everyone knows about the Yamato. Yeah, the
yeah,
Yamato.
yeah, and like in Space Battleship Yamato, they go on a journey to the planet of Iskandar, and it's like the final mission. Uh, like humanity has almost been extinguished, and the aliens that like who are trying to destroy humanity, of course, like they all have German names, blonde hair, blue skin, and they all wear Prussian military uniforms as well. And and the reason why they want to destroy humanity is because they want to find their own planet is dying, so they want to find quote unquote living space. Just like the mid 20th century Germans.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, and as for Attack on Titan, I kind of can't make my mind whether like the people in the vaults, the Eldians or whatever, whether they are supposed to be the Jews or the Germans, because um
They're
yeah
they're a kind of they're a kind of both at the same time. You will
I,
have to watch it.
yeah
I will say Attack on Titan does have that sort of that latent trashiness to it. It's very
it does. Yeah, it's trash. Yeah,
it's very entertaining and stuff, and a
yeah.
lot of the fight scenes are great. So,
The teams are the
maybe
teams are yeah the
you know
teams are more important. Yeah,
other fit. I don't know really. I just like the experience.
yeah. I mean,
I like the experience of watching with others and getting and cheering
yeah,
for the so-called good guys.
yeah, yeah. Have you been spoiled about the manga ending?
No, I haven't, and I don't want to be. I'm like I'm halfway through the fourth, you know, series
It's
four
shit.
part one.
It's shit, but
It's all right.
no, I
It's all
mean
right.
the manga ending. I mean,
Yeah.
and
I heard whisperings of the ending being crap. I'm not surprised. I
I,
wasn't ever
I I
going to
wonder.
imagine the ending would be any good.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
uh,
just enjoying the ride, you know.
yeah. Uh, I mean, I was going to say that like the teams are more interesting than the actual story, really. Uh,
Yeah,
like yeah,
the mystery aspects are always the mystery aspects you imagine are usually more exciting than what's actually going on in the show.
yeah. So it's the head canon, not it's not
Yeah,
the actual. And well, I was going to say that the Japanese also kind of viewed themselves as being like surrounded or whatever by the Americans and all that, and the Germans were kind of surrounded like that too. But so it's something
yeah,
like that, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want AA to watch Attack on Titan. He would think that it's shit, or maybe he
yeah.
would like.
I was rather he watched something a bit more respectable, like only yesterday.
Maybe yeah, no, bad. Maybe maybe he would have liked the Titans doing wrestling moves or whatever. I don't know.
He
Uh,
would have. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what he would have thought. He would have took like one look at those Titans, running like absolute retards, basically,
Yeah,
and just turned off.
yeah, that is probably what would have happened. Somebody has to post.
I do find those Titan runs pretty funny. I think every
Yeah,
season they try to better themselves with how ridiculous they can make the Titans sometimes.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the live action notoriously look like shit. The
Yeah.
Titans in the
Well,
in the live action. Yeah. I mean everything everything that's live action when it comes to anime adaptations. Except slice of some I've seen some decent slice of life anime like Detective Conan, Case Closed, if you have heard of it. You haven't heard of it, have you?
well, I've heard of Detective Conan. I didn't realize there was a live action film made of it.
There are a few live action series of it. Yeah.
All right, interesting. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, you could. Some people argue, and this was like a bit of a joke going around, that Pacific Rim is basically just a live action Evangelion,
Not really. It's much
which is
dumber.
which is like the most cursed thing of all time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's so stupid, but a lot of ideas are there.
I guess so. I mean, like even the thing I just didn't feel like only yesterday was like anime like. So that's what I got like. I don't know. There was nothing. Um, just
I know
kind of felt.
um, yeah, I know something else that annoyed you were all the pauses and all the silences and the
Mm,
gaps in the film.
mm.
Uh, often often they were there just to convey certain emotions the characters were feeling. I didn't like I don't mind those gaps and things. I think they enhanced the film
I
just
don't know.
to because okay, she's a very awkward person, so you need to have these
Mm.
awkward moments so you feel that you sort of feel what she's feeling.
I don't
Uh,
know. I mean, when they spent like 20 minutes or whatever on fifth graders talking about their periods, their first period.
I wasn't like that's
I,
that in no way is my favorite part of the film. I will say that. That's a phase that a saga went on for a bit too long than it needed to really.
I also didn't like, by the way, that anime film that got popular with all the like YouTubers and what was it called? What is your name or something? Your name?
Oh,
I
your
can't.
name. Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
that was shit. I don't know
Well,
why people liked it.
uh, the reason why it got popular with those people is because it was a popular film, and when you talk about popular films, you get more views, and
I
all
see.
and all things begin from there. Uh, I
Yeah.
think that's why. Yeah, your name. I don't know. I was just. I mean, the the whole thing would have fell apart if one of those characters looked at the calendar once. Uh, that's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, I mean, with that too, like I felt like this could have been just a live action or whatever. Like, what's the point of all this uh, animation? I don't know. I mean, like, just compare like your name to Ghost in the Shell or something. You can see the difference.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there's a helicopter.
Yeah, the stakes are just a lot higher, and like, it's not like a stupid fairy tale thing or whatever. Uh, yeah. Let's talk about the trials. I mean,
I mean,
uh,
what is it to say really? It was pretty predictable. He was fucked basically from the beginning.
yeah, I'm glad that AA didn't talk about it until the end, like, because like, what was
Yeah,
there wasn't any point. Like, yeah, I mean, that would have been like, right before the election results came out in America, like everybody was making YouTube videos about it or whatever, and but
yeah.
like nobody really had any information at all, and so yeah, I'm glad that he didn't waste any time on it until now. But Uh, on the one hand, like I don't really care that much about that cop either. I mean, like, why would you be a policeman now? That's what I thought. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah,
like if that's if I was in his position, like, well, if I was in his position, I wouldn't really have it in me to do that to Floyd in the first place. Like, I'm not a very strong person, so I mean, it wouldn't be me. But if I was in his position, like, I would just resign anyway. Um, like, I
yeah,
mean, what
yeah.
what's your life going to be like, even if you are, just charged of manslaughter, right? Uh, it's like, just retire at that point. Go
Yeah,
and go out and live on a organic farm somewhere or something. You'll be better off.
Y- yeah. You will have your Japanese wife or whatever, and you will be fine.
Yeah, all things
Yeah,
all things will be good in the world.
yeah. Uh, Fuck. Yeah. By the way, in the film, like they were talking about like a bunch of social issues. Like for example, there's the fact that Japanese farming to this day is like extremely protectionist, and because of that, it's extremely backwards as well and traditional. Like they do a lot of things the old way, but the only reason that they're able to do it that way is because the government protects them from foreign competition. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I don't really have much to say on that. I mean,
Should they take off those restrictions or should they leave those? Like,
I
uh,
don't. Maybe you know, I don't know. Maybe they already have. This film was made in the 80s. Maybe that time has passed, and there is no organic farming
I'm, I'm
of that sort in
yeah,
Japan anymore.
I'm I'm pretty sure it's the market is pretty protected there, but who knows?
Yeah.
But if
I
it
mean,
was, then do you think that they should though? If it was right now,
um, hmm. If if people want to farm organically, like, they should be able to. And it is if you open your country up to the international market, um, and you take away these protections, all that these hundreds, maybe thousands of years of work are just going to be lost. Because who's gonna look after the organic farms afterwards? I mean,
yeah. But
uh,
like,
I don't know,
uh,
basically.
yeah.
Um,
But the
I
thing
mean,
is that
you're gonna have cheaper food, I guess. Is it worth erasing, all that history over there? I don't know.
yeah. But the thing is that because of these protections, the farmers uh, have like they are so like Japan cannot provide most of its food supply because like the traditional methods just can't supply all the food
No.
which people eat.
Well, these um these um these methods were never made to do such a thing. Uh,
In,
it's
in other
it.
in other
Yeah,
words,
go on.
it's just a lap. It's just a lap. I mean, it's not like they are doing it like because they need to, like for survival or like to grow or like to flourish or anything. It's like it's not real anymore. Do you see what I mean? It's um, like when the majority of your food supply doesn't even come from like your own traditional industries. Like, what is the point of your traditional industries? Uh, you know,
Yeah. All right. Fine. Yeah. Yes. Get rid of it all. Why not? It's worthless. It's all. It's all laughing. Just get rid of it all. Just throw away all your history. See ya. It's not efficient enough. You see, we can't feed our gigantic cities with through these methods. So just burn it all down, I guess.
I mean, like it's not. I mean, before Japan, like I mean, if you're going to like do the real thing, you should like stop importing food like from the rest of the world altogether. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, I know.
so I just I
Yeah,
just don't.
the halfway house is yeah, sort of it delegitimizes making foods at home anyway, doesn't it? Right. So if you open that door, it's inevitable that it's all just going to become outmoded.
Yeah. The thing is though, like, I mean, the Japanese try to keep it closed, but can
Yeah,
you can't really keep it closed because like centralized societies.
yeah. America will
Are
come along and order you to open your borders.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't have to be America. Like in China, it was our own, or at least your own country, Britain, with the Opium Wars, which forced their traditional society to open up um to the markets uh, to buy opium, really, to sell them opium.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like literally evil, is you know. We order you to open a country so we can get you all addicted on opium. Oh God. No wonder
Yeah,
the Chinese have something against Britain.
yeah, they do. And why like the mainlanders like don't feel that much for the people of Hong Kong at all? Like, uh, uh and I can't remember what I was going to say. Fuck. Uh, so let's talk about something different. Let's talk
Yeah,
about Steins Gate.
Steins
Have you
Gate.
watched? Yeah, have you watched it?
Oh, this is, I've been meaning to watch it. Is it the one with the phones?
Yeah, the one in which they fuck with uh, uh, a microwave oven so much that they become able to send.
I really wish when I got the temptation to watch that series a few weeks ago, I did, so we could talk about that now. Uh,
Yeah,
that's unfortunate. I
yeah.
haven't seen it, so I
Just
mean,
watch the
you
first.
can, yeah,
Just
go
watch
on.
the first. Just watch the first season. It's pretty good. Uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Does it,
last.
does it, does it go a little bit off after the first series then?
Yeah, because the second series is about uh, an alternate version, which like some time travel nonsense. But like the characters are totally different. So don't watch it. Though you will be curious, but well, it doesn't matter if you haven't watched it. But just watch the first season. I watched the first season and played the visual novel, which it is based upon as well. Uh,
Ah,
and it's a safe for work one. So, but
good.
um, yeah, I'm not sure whether it's good or bad, but yeah. Uh, so you haven't watched that. If only I could remember what I was trying to talk about earlier. What were we talking about earlier? We were talking about
We're talking about isolationism, I guess.
yeah,
Opium.
uh, yeah, opium. I was thinking like about like organizations like the British Heritage Foundation and like other organizations like that are trying like to save the heritage of this country, like
Yeah.
the Norman castles or whatever. Like, I wonder whether like any of it really matters. I mean, it's not like those castles are used for anything as what they were supposed to be used for, like for the actual task. And it's the same thing which I felt like with those farms in Japan, like those traditional farms in Japan, like which were there to feed the nation, but they don't actually feed the nation. So like, what are they there for? Like, what are the
Because bec-
Norman castles there for?
because our castles are why we're different from others. Um,
Yeah,
basically, that's that's our that's our history. You know.
uh,
Uh,
you know, like Nietzsche and Wagner, like we're having a chat, like when I think somebody, I think it can't have been Napoleon, it must have been somebody else, invaded Paris and burned it or whatever, and they might have burned it. And when they heard the news, like Nietzsche was like feeling like very worried about like all the works of art and literature and mainly art, I guess, and architecture and all that would be lost
Yeah.
in Paris. But Wagner was like, if they can't protect it, like, was it really worth it that much anyway? So that's what I feel like. If those Norman castles can't be used for what they were what they were made for, like, what is it really worth protecting them? Like, aren't they just empty shells, like for tourists to come and like ogle at them and take photos, for fat American tourists to come and take photos and whatever? Like, I mean,
Um, I mean, all right. Let me tell you about the library of Alexander. Uh, I
mm,
mean, I think the argument, if no one's there to protect it, then is it really worth protecting? I think I think that's a very conditional point. Um, you know,
conditional.
yeah, it's very conditional on the circumstances. I mean, okay, let's say uh, things fluctuate in importance as they get older, right? A Roman penny um is only so valuable when it's firstly minted, but now if I were to find some Roman currency, that'd be worth quite a lot of money. Um,
That sounds
and
something like that a merchant would say. Come on.
uh, and uh, so, I think just because something is of little value now doesn't mean it's of little value. I hope that makes sense.
I'm
When you see these old historical buildings, they're more valuable than you think. Um, because I think because of probably because of things like wisdoms and tradition and things. It's very difficult to describe why
because
people want to conserve old castles. I think it's easier to understand why you would save smaller things like weaponry and things, so you can understand how life was on a more personal level for people. But yeah, I don't
mm,
know. Maybe I'm like messing up explaining this, but I'll listen to what you have to say now.
I mean, the castles. I think like there's no point in having a castles without actually having feudalism. And like I started to make these videos like responding to that video about the Queen, which academic agent made, and like the point which I tried to make, and like just like the Queen is an empty institution, which like gives us a false sense of continuity, that an illusion, like the left uses it to give us an illusion of continuity, like that things haven't changed or whatever. I feel like these castles and those organic farmers, they are all doing the same thing, like they're just giving us a
I
false
think
sense of continuity
in a way,
when
well,
there is none.
you could read this your way around though, right? You could you can point at the decline of these older ways of farming and the fact that our castles are just ruins now as evidence that we've moved away from old ways of doing things.
I mean, like it's like when Mussolini tried like to laugh like he was a Roman or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, it all just came off as like fake and gay, and you know.
If only his opponents had said that.
I mean, but it's true. Like all those that propaganda. Like a bit muscled men or whatever,
Yeah,
showing the classical form or whatever. That like they kind of look homosexual because like they kind of look like vain and feminine because like uh, it's like what I said about like those bodybuilder YouTubers, like the Golden One and Bronze Age Pervert. It's like they didn't get those muscles because they needed them to do something heroic. They just got them like to post pictures on the internet of their
yeah,
muscles. So that's what I kind of. It's like like back in Victorian England, like they used to take savages. Uh, and then like display them like they were back in their real environment, like with huts or whatever, like at the expo or whatever, which was
yeah.
yeah, and that's what these things like the Norman castles or whatever. That's what they feel like. They feel like they're fucking playing Dungeons and Dragons or whatever, like some kind of live action role play or whatever. Uh, it's
Yeah.
see, uh, this kind of gets back to the like to the point about formalism, um, because like aren't these all like just the circus which those the real people in the who are really in power, like aren't these all like circuses which the bread and circus for us like to distract ourselves, like I don't know. That's what I feel like. I mean, like even when ISIS was destroying um, uh, those things in Syria, like those ancient Assyrian ruins.
Yeah. It's looking very windy on your end, by the way.
Oh shit!
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah, I kind of was
you're back
like,
now.
yeah. Sorry, didn't you hear what I said about the Assyrians or whatever?
ISIS destroying Assyrian history, basically. Right.
Yeah, and like all the people were like, "Oh, what a tragedy! ISIS is destroying all this priceless Assyrian, ancient Babylonian art, like
I mean,
civilization
I
came
mean,
from there." But like
it is, isn't it?
yes, hmm? Hmm?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
like
that's that's pretty awful. I mean, what do they do to them? The
what
yeah,
I mean,
ancient Assyrians. I mean,
what I
you
mean,
just
what I mean is that like the Assyrians are no longer there. Like so, I mean, it's just like two or three like uh, uh, professors with moth-eaten coats uh, reading about who knows anything about the Assyrians anyway. Like the tradition is dead, and these things are just there like for capitalism, for like uh, fat American
um,
tourists to go and look at them, and like they're not functional anymore in any meaningful sense.
no,
Um,
they're not functional.
it's
But
the,
they are
the,
like they are okay.
yeah.
They are like books, um, history books about the ancient Babylonian civilizations. On very they're not functional, right? You can't use these books to do anything too useful in your everyday life. But
To bring
it
you can't bring back the tradition, right?
well, maybe you can if circumstances are
Uh,
in lines correctly. But yeah,
n-
it's
n-
very unlikely.
it's
But what you
it's
can
just
do
an
from what history is useful for is for identifying patterns that have happened in the past and using these ancient derived wisdoms to make predictions for the future or to understand what's going on in the present. And these physical artifacts are just an extension of, there is wisdom in the design of a halberd, for example, because that's probably a very efficient tool for dealing with cavalry, for example. and
Yep.
that's not useful at all to us, but it might be in
Mm,
some way to someone else at some other point in time, or
yeah,
maybe
somewhat. I mean,
in some other way we can't predict.
it might be useful for someone playing, creating a Dungeons and Dragons campaign or something. Or, I mean, do you
Yeah,
really
yeah,
think that? Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's just a laugh, as is those neo-pagan laughers. As a like, I mean, uh, fuck, I forgot what I was going to say. But you get the point. Like, I mean, like most people who like those people who were like crying about those Assyrian that Assyrian wisdom that you speak about. Like, did they really know anything about the Assyrians? Like, did they really care about it like at all before that? Other than I don't know, going to the British Museum and taking some photographs to post them on Instagram or whatever. Like,
well, the figures or institutions are very good. Even now, that's I think a lot of people do take these things for granted. It's like, oh yeah, yeah, this bit of history is just going to automatically be safe and locked away somewhere. You know, we don't have to worry about considering that ourselves. This is these things getting destroyed is just a reminder, right, that you shouldn't take these
I mean,
things to, for granted, and things can be
all,
forgotten.
I mean, all those like middle class people who like cry about the Library of Alexandria, like they don't really like embody like any of the ideals of that Greek civilization. So then why are they crying about it? Like they don't. It's like maybe like they want to read it and like to sound smart or whatever. But like if they're not going to live the live any of the philosophies, then there's really no point, is there? I mean,
No,
what's
but
the
they can. These things can, you don't have to fully commit yourself to these things. They can just take a backseat advisory position. Right? When people say, "Oh yes, I've read Aristotle," they're never fully embracing that ancient Greek lifestyle, are they? They're taking small parts of Aristotle's philosophy and they're sort of incorporating into their lives to improve how they live, right? And this can be replicated for other areas and for other wisdoms.
Mm. I don't know. I just it's like I don't know. I mean, it kind of felt like those anime YouTubers who like go on and on about like about the animation, like the Sakuga tags. That's what they're called.
I am
Uh,
I am I am a little bit partial to Sakuga. I don't watch a incredible amount of it though. I just sort of watch it if it comes up.
okay. Uh, I just feel like they're that sort of people. Like they just want to like collect pretty looking things and then trade for them or whatever. Like that's all that was there behind. Uh, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't quite see the point of preserving artifacts which are empty, like
Well,
the
I
monarchy.
think there's a bit of a difference between when preserving a broadsword than preserving someone's pop vinyl, right? There's a bit of a difference there, right?
But like I feel like the tradition which that broadsword was created for is not no longer there. So there's no point in that broadsword. Like there's no more warrior caste. So what is the fucking point of a broadsword without
Well,
a warrior caste?
because one day there may be a warrior caste, right? And in many places there still are warrior castes, and they're still needed.
I mean, are there? I mean, I don't know. It seems like everywhere, like you just have a national army because a national army is just more powerful. It's usually more stronger than any warrior caste that you can make. So you know,
Yeah, well, yes, but if the collapsed, TM comes,
Yeah, it's not.
We
It's
may
not. That's the
need
thing.
a warrior
It's not
cast.
going. It's not going to fucking come. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but
Uh,
it has in the past, and it's still, it is a possibility. I don't think it's very likely, of course, but it happened to the Romans, and we know that from history.
but
And
we don't have
from the Middle Ages, we understand how to recover from a collapse, and that's the
the
wisdom of history.
the problem is that we don't really have any outside threat. Like the Romans had outside threats, uh, but we have no outside threats. Like literally, even if the Axis powers had won the war, that would have made like no difference. Even if the First World War was avoided, that would have made no difference. Even if the Soviet Union had won the war, the Cold War, that would have made no difference either. Uh, Even if India or China become like the most powerful nation or whatever, uh, that also makes no difference because like everything is paused. There isn't like a thing. There's no exit.
Yeah, I know.
There's no
Um,
outside force. That there are no Germanic uh, blonde beasts who will come and conquer us or whatever. In fact, like those blonde beasts or whatever that Nietzsche was talking about, like they are like just a bunch of soy boys, really. I mean,
yeah, I know. But what I will say is that nothing lasts forever. Um, what's going on now is bound to end at some point. We don't know what history has in store for us. We can never predict what's going to happen next, and we should remain optimistic and keep records of things
I
just in
mean,
case.
I don't mind having written records or whatever, but like things like say the Constitution or Magna Carta, they're totally pointless, useless, worthless. But like people still talk about like my Constitution and my Magna
Yeah.
Carta. Uh, can you
Okay.
see?
Okay. So let's say the Magna Carta and the Constitution are both dysfunctional and wrong and shouldn't really be used to model your country from. Well, now we understand that we shouldn't be doing this, so we're closer to something that's more workable.
Yeah, but like what I mean is that like people have like so much nostalgia towards that. Like just like in that movie, like people have nostalgia about the 60s or whatever. Like people on our side also have nostalgia about the
Yeah.
Constitution and Magna Carta.
Mm.
And the monarchy as well. Like no matter how pods it gets, like you will get a bunch of white knights defending the queen. Uh,
Yeah.
you see, so what I'm wondering is whether like whether this instinct to just preserve the past is really has any point really. Uh, uh,
Yeah. Yeah. So so we know what we're doing,
mm,
and we understand how things work.
but I don't know. I don't feel like that's how people use it. Like you see, that's
No, no, no.
what
Yeah, that's
in
not how
effect.
most people use it, but it can be used to be very, it can be made of much use. But it hasn't really been necessary to make much use of history recently because we've seen ourselves for about 100 years now as being post-history. Um, and the reason why we've seen ourselves this way is because we haven't had a need to look back at history in
I
a
don't know. I mean,
substantial way.
yeah, yeah, you're right. But like, what is the use of it? Like, say for example, like that a bank, a London bank, reads this stuff, and then like, what is it supposed to do? Is he supposed to go like full Chunibyo and like uh, put on armor, wear armor to his bank job, and insist on talking to people in medieval Latin or something like?
No, no, no. It depends. It depends on what's needed in which circumstance. I mean,
That's what I'm
if
saying. Like,
yeah, if we both wake up tomorrow and everything is just completely falling apart. You know, we're suddenly going to need to understand new things, like, how do I find food, for example. That would never really needed before, and so then we can rely on old teachings and old traditions.
Why would you need the Assyrian ruins? Like after the fall of Rome, like uh, the savages or whatever didn't really need uh, like
Well,
the Roman buildings or whatever. They could. I feel like a lot of like qualities. Um, they
yes,
are born out. Yes.
I agree with you, right? I don't think I'm ever going to practically need the Assyrian teachings to function in the world. But
So so why did you feel sorry when it was destroyed? Like
because because if that's ever needed again for whatever absurd reason, that's gone from us, and we have to learn the lessons these people learnt for us all over again.
well, I just don't feel like people like learned it like from books or whatever. They learned it from necessity. So I feel like if there is a collapse, we would have to learn it from necessity rather than from books or whatever. Um, don't you think so? Like all the virtues, like I don't know, like not eating all of your food all at once. Like you would automatically learn those things if there was less food. So there is kind of no point uh, in a philosophy like that. Like it's just it doesn't work really. Fuck. Maybe I didn't make the point well enough, but you see what I mean, right?
Yeah, I think. Yeah, the thing is, most of the time, you're you know your this theory is correct, but some of the time you need to understand things on a deeper level, and
That's
that
that's what do you
maybe
think?
where history can help you.
I don't know. I mean, because I feel like those ancient warriors like didn't really like they were brave because like the circumstances in which they were required them to be brave, not because of just some philosophy or book or whatever that they read, you know.
Or teachings. A lot of the reason why Hannibal, for example, was so great with the soldiers is because of his father's teachings and the lifestyle he grew up in.
Yeah, but like what
Hannibal without past wisdoms would be powerless. He wouldn't be able to he wouldn't have been able to move troops in the ways that he did and
but
invent new ways to fight in combat.
yeah, but like what is the point of like studying like those history geeks or whatever, like apolitical history geeks who know all about the tactics which Hannibal used, you know, but like they're not the same thing as Hannibal just because like they learned the same
No,
lessons. You see what
no.
I mean? That's a crucial difference. I guess I just uh, I feel like those values like come organically from the material circumstances in which people are um, out of necessity because for survival. Whereas like that's why the organic farmer is fake and gay because like he doesn't need to be an organic farmer or whatever. He's not doing it out of necessity. He's just doing it. It's fake. He's going out of his way. It it's a pretense. Okay, maybe I said a bit
Yeah.
too much, but uh,
The thing is the problem is that you're correct, right? You're literally correct. And it's incredibly difficult to argue against this. This method is old, outdated, it's inefficient, and this is how a lot of culture is lost. Um, and this is really the lifeblood of liberalism,
I mean,
right?
like what about all these people who like talk about the fucking carrot pill, but they are like on the internet, like You would like if you're
Yeah,
going to like give up technology or whatever, like you see, I don't know. I mean, even Ted Kaczynski, like he was kind of laughing as well. Like he had all of this, uh, he had a bunch of stuff like which you could only have because of I don't know because of
yeah, yeah.
liberalism. I
Yeah. All of my whenever whenever I think of how the world ought to be, um, I'm always thinking in terms of making something new. I'm never thinking of going back to planting carrots. All right, that's because I know that's never going to fly with anyone in a in a practical sense. But what I do when I'm trying to make something new is I sort of I try to understand why old methods works in their place in time,
yeah, but
and
the
why
problem,
those methods don't work now, and
yeah,
and and what can we learn from that, and why
yeah,
the things we do now might not be working, and maybe we can take inspiration from the past. Right?
yeah, yeah, the problem I think sometimes which happens when people do that is like it just ends up being a pastiche, like the Disney castle. What the Disney castle is to a real castle, you see.
Yeah,
Um,
but
it,
all ideas start off as the Disney castle,
okay.
and then they're shaped by necessity. You know,
Hmm. Let's hope. Yeah, I guess. I mean, even if there is a collapse, I feel like people will look at this age as a golden age and rush back towards this age as fast as possible, looking past.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, uh, that is why I just don't really have like uh, I don't really feel like that people will look at the traditions which we want them to look at. Uh, because I feel like the reason why after the fall of the Roman Empire people looked at the traditions of the Roman Empire is because the Roman Empire was was materially more prosperous. Uh, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit too much of a material determinist. Uh,
No, you're right. This is why I always hope that we're sort of going for a tunnel,
mm,
and eventually we will be, you know, a better way of things will come out of what we make for ourselves.
yeah. Anyway, this is why that movie is not that good. Uh,
Yeah. Okay.
uh, okay, so what else do we have?
Do you want to end things here?
No, why?
Uh,
Uh,
because because right I need to I need to end this conversation basically.
all right, okay. Uh,
So
I wanted to talk about
any
the football, but I guess next time.
the football? Yeah, okay, yeah. Next time, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Then, well, thank you for talking to me.
Yeah,
If
of
this,
course.
if this didn't record it, I'll post it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, it's been a good talk. So yeah, I hope we can.
When do you want to talk
Yeah.
next? If you want to talk.
Um. I'll see because next week I'm going to be incredibly busy. And the week after that, there's like a event going on at my university. So,
All right.
but after that, it's just like literally, I have about 3 months in my life of free time. So, we could probably do a lot in like 2 weeks' time. But if I ever get a gap next week, I'll just message you.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Yes.
Uh, okay.
Yep. I will see you later.
Yeah. See you. Bye.
Farewell.
All right. Thank you for listening. Yeah. I mean that was a nice talk. Let's hope that Craig was able to record it. And yeah, I mean, there wasn't much I had to talk more about. I think I had to talk about the football with him, but I really just wanted to repeat Mr. D's point that like people didn't care when like immigration and all that uh, was big, but suddenly when they come for their football, that's the end of the world. Anyway, thank you for listening, and now get out.